The crypto market gets crazier every single day, and I don't think I need to tell you that. What I do believe in, though, is that over a bull market, the most exciting thing to get into is proper altcoins. There's an argument to be made that Bitcoin is all you need, and I will say that I partially agree with that. If you only go for Bitcoin, I do believe you'll be fine. But first of all, altcoin communities are a lot more fun, but the more important note here, altcoins are just way more profitable. And they serve different problems and functionalities, so that too. Anyway, so today we're talking about one of my longer term favorite projects that is called Algorand. You've probably already seen me make tons of videos about it throughout the last couple of years, and that's because they've been hot for a hot minute. And we'll tackle this down number a little bit later in the video, but just looking at the price action, looking at the previous runs, you can see that it used to be quite hot. Well, I mean, they still are. They just actually had themselves a pretty cool event over in Barcelona that I was unfortunately not able to attend. But before we dive into that, just want to quickly talk about the price. I know, one of the most controversial things, I know, but in my opinion, it's always still a relevant feature, but I do it in two phases. One is what's going on with the price right now, and second of all, where do I end up seeing, or where do I see it ending up going? Understand that this is not financial advice, just my own thoughts about the matter, and because I've been holding it for so long, talking about it for so long, and I know many of you guys that are watching this right now are holding it, just want to give you guys my update on what's the matter. Now, straight to the bat, we gotta quickly start by explaining a little bit about what Algorand is. The way I always describe it is simply a platformer. There are many of them out there nowadays, all with their slight unique twists and hooks, but the main idea being that it's able to run these different decentralized applications and has been founded by Silvio I'm gonna butcher this, ain't I? Micali? Anyway, whenever I say that, people usually get pretty excited because, I don't know, I think with many of these crypto projects, you might argue the founders are not important, but I think with Ripple and with Algorand and a couple of these others, it is nice to know that these guys are quite capable. And in my opinion, it's also quite nice when they have more of a tech background rather than a finance background when you're looking at the main founders. Depending obviously on what their goal is, crypto at the end of the day is a lot about finance and fintech, financial tech. When you're reading through this, he's a recipient of the Turing Award for his fundamental contribution to the theory and practice of the two-party computation, electronic cash. Makes him like a pretty credible guy, but it's just besides the point. We're talking about price though. Many people are going to my comment section complaining about many of the coins that I still hold and that I sometimes have covered or still cover on the channel. An XRP, a Dogecoin, a Cardano, for example, but there's many. And the thing is, they say, why has an Ethereum or a Bitcoin pumped like crazy and is crazy above I'm going to say really close to all-time high, where a lot of these altcoins are not. And the simplest answer I can give you is many altcoins are not anywhere close to their all-time highs just quite yet. Looking through this list, again, for the most part, it's people just calling out large caps. And that's because there has been a wave for AI coins a few months back, RWA coins and some other little niches, but the main coins in this list here, most of them have not had their time in the spotlight in this cycle. And so when looking at this little column right over here on the bottom right, can I put it more into screen? I can a little bit. So this column right here shows you, there we go. Okay, I'm able to make it more in the middle. Shows you how far down projects are from their all-time high. And what you notice when you're scrolling through here is that it's not really that much the project's fault. Matter of fact, it's mostly just a matter of the crypto cycle, where most of the projects that are in this top list have not seen their peak for the cycle and will not see their peak most likely for a good little, I'm going to say for a good amount of time, based on the fact that it's not the time for them to shine in the season just quite yet. So when you're looking at a lot of these projects, some of them surely will not recover. And that is why I never recommend anybody to hold just one crypto. But many of them that you're seeing right here have not lost their spark, have not lost their potential. They're just down from the bear market and have yet to go for a crazy recovery because they didn't have the hype spree just quite yet. So again, Theoretically speaking, if you always just DCA, I still think you'll end up being just fine because you can sell into a pump. But if you're just holding from back in time, for the most part like I am, I'm personally not too worried, because even if, and this is an if, the projects don't get the same hype as before, I'm being real with you here, they'll still probably do some pretty crazy numbers, just maybe not get to the number 1, number 2, number 3 spot. But still, for a bull market, for some of these smaller altcoins, do a 10x or so, it's not crazy at all. Even in this case here, at 1 billion, it's not really far off to like a 30x or so. You understand where I'm coming from? In the bull market, many of the coins here in the top 100 at the lower end will be above the 20 billion, maybe even $30 billion mark. And so the more we scroll up, it's not that crazy to see $50 billion at spot 25, or for example. A lot of this is going to go up by some crazy folds. We're just still really early into the cycle. Anyway, talking about it, I was so sad that I could not attend, also because a lot of crypto projects, right? They have different representatives, different people. And I've told you before that I vibe, is the best way I can describe it, with a lot of projects that I meet, but for the most part, not projects that I actually hold. It's mostly just cool people I see at conferences. But anyway, a couple years ago, I really kicked it off with some of the Algorand guys that I met. And so I was kind of sad that I could not attend this one over in Barcelona. But if you did listen through, and I think that's one of the more important parts here, first of all, these guys are not stopping even though it's a bear market. Second of all, launching an event in a bear market takes, or it's not a bear market, but it's a bearish market throughout the last couple of weeks, months. That takes some balls. Just real truth. It's so much harder to do it when things are bad, when the prices are not just skyrocketing and enthusiasm is at all-time highs. But in my opinion, more importantly, this is again yet another opportunity for many people to learn about Algorand, learn about what they're doing. And I always recommend people, if you get the chance, to sometimes listen in on these live streams about conferences, or again, if you have the means for it, to attend some of them, because some of my best connections are made at these events. And also, you learn so much about a crypto project from attending a few-hour session. Way more than sitting at home trying to read a little book, because they try to explain it in the simpler terms. And you also at that point realize that indeed, prices on a lot of crypto projects might be down day by day. It changes all the time, but development does not stop. And I know a Twitter post here and there, it also catches you up to date, but realistically, them throwing a pretty large event like this is what really catches you up to speed with everything that's been happening. And from that point on forward, in my opinion, you can make a better decision on whether or not you still support their vision and the investment thesis. That is just way harder to do if you're not paying any attention at all. But like I said, it's just to give you a good idea of, hey, what's actually coming up? Do I still like that? Do I think this is too far away? Does this, as to where I think the bull market's gonna top out, does that make sense for their map? Is this a project to see myself holding throughout the next few years, or do I really only want it for one cycle? Has it seen its best life before, or is the best life coming to it over the next couple of cycles? And yeah, in my opinion, they had a lot of pretty cool announcements, like you can see right here, and it gives you just a better indication of what are those projects that they're talking about over on Twitter all the time. What are they really all about? Not in the text form, but hearing it from the people themselves. Regardless, this is a tip for people in, I guess, any crypto community. Look more at numbers than hype. I know if we're at peak enthusiasm, I'll kind of say throw my theory out the window. But when markets are not in peak just quite yet, a lot of it is based on how good are they actually? And more importantly, how's the growth curve looking? Are they actually making steps? And I think that was a really cool thing about this conference here. It made me realize these guys are actually picking up the pace. So June here has been better than the months prior. And even though I'd say following hype and enthusiasm, February, for example, was actually a way better month, they're actually still breaking that yearly record. Well, it says here all-time high, actually, so that's also pretty good. And if you're a dev, there's more cool things that they're actually doing. So in terms of community, yeah, they're definitely still doing very well. And they're not like a lot of other crypto projects which have gone completely quiet. No, this is all just, I'm just scrolling through here over the last day or so. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. And more importantly, they are not sitting still. Still in touch with the community, still making updates, still making growth. And nothing as of this point has indicated to me that the next run won't be crazier than the previous one, regardless of what you read around the internet. But again, that is just my opinion. I may be wrong on all of that. but I don't think so. Anyway, let me know down below if you're still holding your Algorand and what video topic you want to see next. As a last little ender, I'll say, man, if you really start scrolling through, these guys are doing a lot. And it makes me realize how diverse and how broad and how much money there is in this crypto ecosystem that you sometimes just forget. Yeah, this one specifically was a really cool video from the conference, but hey, that's about it for this video. Hopefully see you guys later in another one. Peace out.